Hi, this is Mashnu, and here is again a calculation exercise. This first position, it's white to move here. The last move of black was bishop to c5, attacking the rook on d4. Perhaps you would like to pause the video and see if you can find some interesting variations here. If not, then I'll give you a variation and try to follow it, visualizing the moves. It's white to move, and the first move is knight to c7 check. Notice that the rook on d8 is being attacked by the rook on d4, supported by the rook on d1. So that means that after knight to c7 check, the knight may not be taken, because then if rook takes c7, then rook takes d8 check, and white has won material. The same happens after knight to c7 check, king to f7. Also then rook takes d8 wins. So after knight takes c7, black will have to play king to e7 to defend the d8 rook with two pieces still, with the king and with the rook on c8. But let's have a look at what happens then. So the whole variation again: knight to c7 check, king to e7, and now rook takes d8. Black replies rook takes d8, and white takes one more time with the rook from d1. He takes on d8, and the black king takes on d8 again. And then we have a nice fork. Knight from c7 goes to e6 check, and after the king moves, for example to d7 or to e7, then the knight takes on c5. So one more time, the whole variation is knight from d5 to c7 check, king from e8 to e7, rook from d4 takes d8, rook from c8 takes d8, rook from d1 takes d8, king from e7 takes d8, and then knight from c7 to e6 check, king to e7, knight from e6 takes the bishop on c5. Now let's see this, how it looks. This is what I meant: rook takes, king takes, and then we have a check here. And after the king moves, then knight takes e5, and we have a one ending with white. Okay, I'm going to show you another position so we can keep practicing this. Okay, here is the second position. This time it's more complicated, so be prepared to visualize and calculate. It's white to move here, and I'm going to give you a variation and try to follow it. The first move here is bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, e6 check, knight takes e6. Now rook h to f1 check, king e8, queen takes g6 check, king to d8, queen takes e6. I'm going to read again the moves, but this time I'm going to help you a bit by drawing arrows. So the first move is bishop takes f7. Black replies king takes f7. White moves e6 check. Black replies knight takes e6. Then rook to f1 check. King goes back to e8. And queen takes g6 check. King goes to d8. Then the queen takes the knight on e6. Now this queen here cannot be taken by the pawn because it's pinned by this rook. Now let's have a look at the variation in moving the pieces. So it's bishop takes f7, king takes f7, e6 check, knight takes e6, rook h to f1 check, king to e8, queen g6, king d8, and queen takes e6. And here white has a wonderful position. All the pieces are activated, attacking the black king, and black's pieces are not doing a very good job. Let's go back now to have a look here after e6. What if d takes e6? In that case, d takes e6, then again rook h to f1 check. If the king goes to g7, then there is bishop to e5 check. Now if the king goes to h7, then there is rook f7 check. If then the king goes to g8, there is queen g6. Let's have a look at this variation as well. So it's about this move. Rook h to f1, king to g7, bishop e5 check, king to h7, rook f7 check, king to g8, and queen takes g6 is checkmate. Let's go back. There is still a bit more to practice, because here knight takes e6 was played, rook f1 check. Now what if here the king goes to g7? Would you like to calculate that? I'll give you the variation without moving the pieces first. So it's king to g7, bishop e5 check, king to h7, rook f7 check, king g8, rook takes g6 check, knight to g7, queen takes g7 checkmate. So it's very similar to the variation that we just saw, the same type of attack with mate. Now let's have a look moving the pieces. So it's about king to g7, here bishop to e5 check, king to h7, rook f7 check, king goes to g8, queen takes g6 check, and the only legal move, knight to g7, is followed by queen takes g7 checkmate. Of course, in this type of complicated positions where we started, there are many variations that you can calculate. After, let's say, let's go back. After this, we can try to calculate what happens if we give the check with a rook immediately. What if this beautiful move e6, by the way? What if he takes with the pawn? What if he takes with the knight? What if he doesn't take at all, but moves to e8 back immediately? After this check, what if he goes to g8 or to e8 or to g7? All, let's say, ramifications. Is that an English word, ramification? I don't know. Well, perhaps you know what I mean. The variations lead to more and more sub-variations. Alright, so I hope you found this an interesting video about calculation. That's the most important skill that we need to develop, to be able to calculate well in our games. And let's keep practicing, because this is something that we need to practice from the beginning until the end. And the end never comes, because there is no end in chess. We keep playing, we keep learning, and we keep developing. Alright, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.